Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another video. It's Stephen here, and we're talking about a potential new signing, a potential new Argentinian signing, which, of course, as a Manchester City fan, is always a thing to get excited about. We're just dead good. The Argentinian Blues are coming after you. We've always had a wonderful history. Of course, Alvarez is the latest, a World Cup winner, but it doesn't stop there. We've got Zabaleta, we've got Demichelis, we've got Otamendi, we've had Caballero. I'm sure there's others I forgot to mention as well. This could be very, very, very exciting. I love it. I love a signing like this potentially, and it's come out of nowhere. I would say hello to everyone joining in the chat already. Who we got here? We've got Christy Flacco, Colby, Asiku Roy Bright, Vinay Chubalanka, Colby McDowell, Nam, Abubakar, Yolson, and many more people. It's good to see you all. Please do hit that like button. If you want to see Maximo Perrone, if that's how you pronounce it, Perrone, there's the beer in it, Max beer. If you want to see him come to Manchester City, please do hit the like button. And of course, as well, if you're new to the channel, let's get to 65,000. Let's help support the channel. Let's get those subscribers up. Do it right now. It's very much appreciated. So, this is a name that I honestly had no idea existed until last night. I am never going to be the kind of guy to lie to you. I don't know anything about him, man. I didn't know anything about him until last night when I sat there with my son asleep on me, watching compilations of this guy I'd never heard of play football before. And you know what? I sort of liked what I saw. It looked really, really encouraging. It genuinely did. Now, the context of this was broken by Fabrizio Romano. I'll jump over to the story. He said last night on Twitter, Manchester City are set to trigger the release clause for Velez talent Maximo Perrone worth $8 million. Is it dollars or euros, whatever, dollars? Here we go, expected soon if all goes to plan. He's an Argentinian midfielder born in 2003 and is considered a huge talent. He joined City after Sudamericano Sub-20, which I think goes on to February, mid-February, which means surely it would be a summer signing given the transfer window and so on. Someone did ask in the replies saying hopefully he's bought by Manchester City and not the City group, and Fabrizio did clarify that's not a word, clarify that it'd be Manchester City and not the City football group, which is very interesting. It's very interesting, and it's good news actually, because I do like signings like this. Look, you see Enzo Fernandez going for about £100 million to Chelsea. And then you think football's gone mad, and City are part of that. Of course they are. I am absolutely aware City are part of that. We signed, £100 million player. We've spent loads of money, but on young players as well who are not yet fully established. It's an awful lot of money. So when you see the player that Benfica would go for if they sold him, I would rather we just go for that one and get Guardiola on them nice and early. Now, of course, there's more of a risk there because he might not make it, but at the same time, the financial risk is vastly lesser. So you get someone like this guy in for around $8 million. I mean, that's nothing. This pocket change to Manchester City. So who is he? I'll do a very basic Wikipedia read here. He's a professional football. He plays for Velez Sarsfield as a midfielder. He's 5'10", so he's a decent height. He's not small at all. I'm 5'10"-ish, and I was stood next to Kevin De Bruyne and felt about the same height as him. So we know KDB is roughly the same, good height. He's a good size, basically. He's very new to the world of football. He plays for Velez Sarsfield, of course, over in Argentina. He's an Argentinian youth international, as you can see there. And he scored in the Copa Libertadores before as well, so he's played at a decent level over there. That's a very basic overview. There's a Twitter thread here, which I don't know how accurate it is, but this guy replied to Fabrizio. He said, which Gabriel Heinz, of course, ex-Manchester United player, but ex-Argentine international, said, there's a boy in the academy team who's spectacular, and he was on about Perrone, who plays as a deep-lying playmaker. Apparently he's been compared to Redondo, and that's a very nice comparison given he was such a lovely footballer. According to this guy on Twitter, says he's gifted technically, he's very much a modern-day midfielder, very comfortable in possession. Perrone blends intelligence with aggression very well. He's tough and abrasive in tackle, aggressive with his dribbles, and calm in tricky situations, and orchestrates and dictates play. He sees the game differently than most, making him extremely creative. He's elegant with an extreme football IQ, always keeps his head up and scans the pitch. He's tenacious, energetic, and composed, and he has this beautiful culture pass with the ability to break the lines. Do you know what? I watched him a little bit as well, and what I saw online sort of matched that. I liked what I saw of him. I didn't know about him, but I really like that he's left-footed as well. There's something about a left-footed footballer which is so aesthetically pleasing. But to me, the immediate player that I got was somewhere between a Rodri and a Gundogan. That's what I got, a young Gundogan. Do you remember the Gundogan at Dortmund who dribbled a lot more? Gundogan still's tried that recently, but the Gundogan that could burst forward a little bit, but still with that The only way I can describe it, do you know when Rodri has this upright elegance, like the way he holds himself and it's strong and he's sort of dictating play from deep. Busquets, I guess, he has that kind of, he has that little bit of that about him, but he has a little bit more physicality, a little bit more box to box. As Yolson just said, maybe a bit of a Fernandinho replacement. He's obviously more of a deep line midfielder, but he still seems to have the ability to pick out a pass or two. I've seen some wonderful goals that he scored from long range, which is once again very Rodri-esque. I've also seen some lovely diagonal passes to the back post, once again very Rodri and Fernandinho-esque, which is a Manchester City trait. And I've seen him dictate play really nicely from the clips, really, really comfortable in possession, really composed in the ball, and as people have said, he seems pretty tenacious. So all in all, this guy seems like a really nice footballer. Now, I am no expert on him, but he does seem like a nice footballer. What I find interesting is I've been reading some reports about him, and it's the teams that are interested in him that really get me curious. Now, according to this report on Team Talk, City are keeping a close eye on him, but it's been claimed that 2 other clubs have been made interested in moves. Apparently, it was Newcastle that looked very close to sign him, and also Wolves have also made approaches apparently to sign him. And apparently Benfica want him to be the replacement for Enzo Fernandez. So once again, get him in before they become superstars. I'm very much into this. I don't think this is a City Football Group signing simply because of the quality of the players who are into him. And I do think Alvarez has become such a success. And before that, I guess as well, Jesus to an extent. I know he's more expensive, but he was young and from the top South American league, from a top South American side as well. I do think in general, City are quite open to getting the next ones in. I mean, as the article says here, he's a defensive midfielder, so maybe he wouldn't be a regular starter. But who knows what's going on with Calvin Phillips, and who knows what's going on with Rodri, and who knows if he's more of a Gundogan replacement that would play a little bit further forward. I don't know, but either way, it seems interesting. I mean, it's a bargain either way. It really is. You can go and find the comps, of course, yourself on Twitter and so on and watch them. But it does seem like a really interesting player. It really genuinely does. I mean, I like it. I like the idea of this. And as Taylor just said in the comments as well, we should have signed Enzo when we signed Julian. We should have really. I mean, maybe City look at Enzo Fernandez and go, that would have been a really nice Gundogan replacement, or Bernardo if they want to go, as they get on. Maybe it would have been perfect, but now he's too much money, which is probably true. So maybe we're looking at Maximo Perrone and going, this guy is the next Enzo Fernandez. This guy is the next wonderful, gifted, complete midfielder that Guardiola will mould into a beautiful player. And given that he's left-footed as well, by the way, I think that really helps, honestly. The passing channels that would open, I think City would like him just because he's left-footed. He's just so much more luxurious if you can get a guy who can whip it in as a left central midfielder when you've got KDB on one side and maybe him on the other and Rodri. It's a really, really, really nice potential tool in our armory. Left-footed players are a premium, and if you can get one on that side as opposed to, a right foot on the left centre midfield, it's really, really good. Given that we've got Bernardo as well, of course, maybe he's a potential Bernardo replacement. It's really good. Guys, please do hit the like button. It'd be massively appreciated. I know you've all got it in you to get to 100 likes on this video right now, so do it right now. So I like it, man. I mean, I do think it's a potential Manchester City signing. I do think City have slightly changed their tact, and Guardiola did hint the other day about potential future signings for young players for the future, and maybe this fits that bill. Of course, recently we signed Alvarez, we signed Sergio Gomez. Maybe Maximo Perrone is the next one along this line. And I like that City are looking for bargains. Now, Asiku Roy Bryce just asked in the comments, is it confirmed that Bernardo is leaving? No, it's not confirmed. It's confirmed that he wants to go. Like one of the City Football Group director or someone like that said he did want to go, but no one came in for him. We all know it's genuinely a thing that he wants to go now. Will he go? I don't actually know, because it depends if anyone comes in for him, and it sounds like the rest of the league's broke, but there's always a risk that could happen. So it's always worth getting a backup or whatever, or the potential next Bernardo in place. But I like this. I do. I think it's exciting. I think it's interesting. These are the kind of signings that you want Manchester City to make. I do want them pushing the next generation of young players. And I've been saying this for a long time. As many young players as we can get around Guardiola now is the best thing Manchester City could do. Because sadly, and you're going to hate me for saying this, but it's true, Guardiola isn't forever. He should be forever. Like I'll lock him the Etihad or something like that so he doesn't get away. But sadly, he might want to move on at some point. So if we can get young players around Guardiola Guardiola, things look very, very, very good because they'll learn the Guardiola way and they'll be here for 10 years and they'll take over and they'll help the next manager carry on that legacy and that success potentially. Especially when you look at people like Bellingham, which has been mentioned. Look, Bellingham is going to be an awful lot of money. It might just be that City get him. They might not. It might be that we need a backup. In the way that Alvarez was a Haaland plan B, but we got them both. It could be that we get both of these. You could get Bellingham and Perrone maybe. But either way, I think City are being smart. I do trust City scouts at the moment. Akanji was a wonderful signing for 14 million. Alvarez, of course, roughly the same. We are making some smart decisions in the transfer market, and you've kind of got to trust them at the moment. Like, I like this potentially. I think it's exciting. I think it really is. Do you guys think he would come to Manchester City straight away? I don't know when he could actually join. Like, I think he would only be able to join in... surely it'd be the summer. Surely he can't come afterwards. Can he be maybe he can come afterwards. Some people think he can come afterwards, after February. Maybe he can, but I think it'd be summer personally. Guardiola's very much a settled squad kind of person. I was potentially wrong thinking he couldn't come, but I just don't really see it. Maximo Perrone with a super chat is saying he's an interesting signing. I personally don't think he'll play for City. His age and profile suggests he's a City Football Group signing. Well, Fabrizio disagrees with Maximo. Fabrizio said he's a Manchester City signing. Maybe you're right, mate. I hope you're wrong, by the way. But you might be right. But Fabrizio did say he's a Manchester City signing. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Can the players be registered to two clubs at once? I am not sure they can. So people saying they can just register for Manchester City and then join in February. Can he do that? Can he be registered for two clubs at once? I'm not sure he can. I'm sure if he's playing in February, he can't. You can only register during the transfer window, can't you? Is that right? You can only sign during the transfer window, and then you can't be registered for two at once. That's how I feel. I don't know. I think it'll be summer. It'll be the summer. Yeah, I can't really see it being past that. But anyway, I mean, he looks like a good player. How about Lampard? What I mean, stylistically, is that what you're on about? I don't think he's very Lampard-esque, or do you mean about just today with Everton? But this is an interesting potential signing. More of this. Make the superstars. I think City are so well placed now with the scouting network, and it's such a balanced squad that we can take these risks a little bit. We have got those senior players in there. We don't always need to sign a £60 million player. Contract expires in the summer, Steve. It doesn't expire at the end of December 23. That's what I read online. But either way, yeah, I think we're all roughly in agreement that he could. He hasn't got long left, hence why he'll be really cheap. Sam's been pessimistic. Sam said he'll probably make a 15-minute cameo versus Newport, then go on loan to Girona for the rest of his career, unfortunately. People say that, but, Gomez and Perrone both came into the first team, so things aren't always going to be how they, how they currently are, how they previously were. Look at Alvarez. Everyone said he was going on loan, but he came in as a first-team player. And the thing is, with people like Keiki, and... Keiki was in the fourth tier of Brazilian football. He was never really anywhere near the level of Alvarez. He wasn't. And I know some do go on loan, but I think at the same time, it depends on what it's announced. If it's a City Football Group signing, then yeah, of course. If it's a Manchester City signing, which Fabrizio claims, then no, he's coming to Manchester City. I reckon he'll come to the first team, and we'll see how it goes. We are looking long term here because we're going to have to make some signings because De Bruyne is getting on. Pays me to say it. It is. Gundogan's getting on and could leave next summer. Bernardo wants to go. We know that. So potentially it's three midfielders that need to be replaced inside the next 2 or 3 years. So we can't sign a whole bunch of superstars. One of them's going to have to be a bargain potentially. So why not someone like Maximo Perrone? Why can't he be the bargain that we need? Why can't he be one of them while we also sign a superstar? It's very, very possible. Mahrez is getting old as well. Loads of people are getting old, so we can't spend 60, 70 million every single player that we'll replace. We need Kolo Muani to replace him. I don't know who he is personally. Sorry, mate. McAtee steps up next season. Maybe he will do. McAtee, of course, scored a wonderful goal last night for Sheffield United. I mean, he sort of just ran in a straight line, but it was still a wonderful goal, man. He's been absolutely on fire recently. He's really found his form there, so fingers crossed he can keep up that form and keep going and keep improving Sheffield United. Because I don't think the door's closed to him. I don't think it is. I think City wanted him to stay, and I know he's got a long way to go and a lot more to prove, but I don't think the door is fully closed to him. I genuinely believe that. I think City really value him. And I actually think, even though he hasn't been a star yet for Sheffield United, I think he's learning how to play men's football, as they say. He's learning how to play alongside battlers and warriors and physical, tough people who are going to kick him. And that's important, You've got to learn that. He's technically always had the ability, but the one thing he's not had is the physicality and how to play with the pace of the professional game. And he's learning that, so it's really good for him. Maybe he'll go. It was a good goal. He really was. I'll be back. I said, fingers. We have so many good academy players like McAtee, but they won't get a chance, Stephen. Well, we say that, mate. But Cole Palmer, Rico Lewis, Foden, they've all broken through to the team. Look, ultimately, I do have to trust Guardiola here. I used to be quite critical of the youth integration. Not that it matters what I thought, but, I used to want more academy players. But currently, the City's academy prospects are good, Rico's there. I think Palmer's there to stay as well. I really believe that. I think they're both there to stay. And Foden, we've already got 3 potential City fans and academy players in the team. And that's a lot. And I do think 1 or 2 more will get through by the time Guardiola goes. We could be looking at 4 to 5 players in the squad that are City academy players by the time Guardiola leaves. And that, to me, is like it's 25 to 20% or something like that. It's remarkable. So we should be happy with the integration we're currently getting. We'll see, won't we? We'll see how it goes. I do like what we've seen of him though so far, this lad. Obviously, I would encourage you to go and look at your own compilations and so on of Perrone, and go and do your own research, because I can't really show the footage because I think my channel will get taken down. I don't want to risk it personally, if that's all right with you guys. I don't want to show it, but you can find loads of comps. They're all over Twitter. You can go and watch him, and he looks really elegant. I really love his passing range. I really love the fact that he's a complete midfielder. I love complete box-to-box midfielders more than anything. There's something elegant and wonderful about them. Where is Wilson Esbrand then? He's injured at the moment, mate. That's the answer. Wilson Esbrand's problem is that he doesn't keep the ball very well. I know we all love him, but I've watched Guardiola live, ranting at Wilson Esbrand on the touchline because he doesn't trust him to make the right decision. Wilson Esbrand is super exciting. He's a really exciting footballer. In terms of he gets forward, he's got pace, but he's also quite a naive footballer. He's not a very Guardiola footballer. I mean, he's brilliant in terms of, but he doesn't keep the ball particularly well. You can tell why Guardiola loves Rico Lewis, but doesn't really. He has, not that he doesn't love Wilson Esbrand, but he has maybe more doubts, because Wilson Esbrand is exciting going forward, but he's definitely a bit rawer, and he definitely was out of position a few times in the way that Guardiola was ranting at him to get back, and he was out of position. So, to me, that is where I think Wilson Esbrand's got a lot more to learn to trust Guardiola to trust him. It's not about talent; it's about composure, and I think he's lacking a little bit of it personally. So I think if he was a really good in possession, I think he'd be in the team. But I think Guardiola thinks he's a little bit wild, a bit raw, which he is, which is fine. But I don't think Guardiola trusts young players unless they really keep the ball. Palmer does, Rico Lewis does, Phil Foden did, and that's where we're at. But this is a signing I like, man. And obviously, academy players coming through is always the one that you want. But to me, the next most exciting thing is a hidden gem. A superstar signing is good, but a hidden gem is even just as exciting, in my opinion. The players that become Manchester City legends, become legends at Manchester City as opposed to already superstars elsewhere. I love that when they make the name here. Maximo also with a super chat. My man, thank you so much, mate. It says Super Rico Lewis is here to stay. He is. I've never been more certain of anything. Guardiola does not dish out words like he did for Foden and now Rico Lewis. He doesn't give them out like that, He really doesn't. He is he means what he says. He chooses his words very carefully, and he chooses his academy players very carefully. And the question, which we'll be talking about in the match preview later, which will be live at 5 p.m, is Rico Lewis going to start tomorrow? That's the big one, and to me, that's crazy. That's even a question, given Cancelo and Walker are back. But he could do, he could do. But he's definitely here to stay, and he is a City fan. You love to see it. You really do love to see it. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate you. Please do hit the likes, by the way. I mean, why have you not hit the likes yet? I want to see the likes up a little bit more. Is he more of a 6 or an 8? To be honest, he's a bit more of a 6 currently. I think Sakib, but I do think he could play an 8, like in the way that Gundogan can be a 6. Gundogan was a bit more of a 6 at one point in his career. Then he was more of an 8, and he can be another 10. He can be a false 9. I think he's basically a pure midfielder where he likes playing deep, and I think he sees himself as a number 6, from what I can gather. But I think he can play an 8 as well. Basically, he's a little Guardiola midfielder. look, to be as an 8 as Man City, you've got to be really good in tight spaces and keeping the ball and so on. Which we know you can do based off the compilation so far. Obviously, the worry is that you might not adapt to the physicality of the Premier League and European football, which is 10 times more demanding. But you never know. You never know. Alvarez did it. I mean, Alvarez, of course, though, the only thing with Alvarez is that he was obviously playing for Argentina already. Yeah, Colby's saying about Rico, by the way, the fact that he's 18, Rico that is, playing in probably the hardest position under Guardiola, and might be playing in 3 games back-to-back, it just shows the talent. Yeah, that's it. It's ridiculous. He's massively trusted now, and I think he's there on merit. I don't think he gets dropped, I don't think he gets dropped. And we'll talk about it later, of course, in the preview, but I just don't think he gets dropped, man. I don't think he does. I think it'd be silly to do that. He's earned it. He's earned it. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Please do hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let me know in the comments below what you make of Maximo Perrone. What a name. I want him. Max Perrone. What a guy. I want a guy called Max Perrone in Manchester City's team just because it's just fun, isn't it? It's really, really fun. Please do hit the like button. It helps support the channel. Please do hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. It is very much appreciated. It's ticking up next to me right there. And I will see you later for another video. For now, they'll go watch my 5 Things Learned video yesterday. This is a surprise. Did anyone see the 5 Things Learned surprise yesterday, which I had no idea was coming? Did you watch the video? If not, go and check it out right now. I'll put a link in the description. 1 second. Oh, I'll put a link in the chat. If you haven't already seen it, where is it? Live. I did a live 5 Things Learned, which was good fun, which is not something I've done before. But I will do it again if you guys liked the live format. Here we go. Here we go. Watch this. Go and watch that as soon as this video's finished, and we'll see. All right. Bye-bye. I'll see you at 5 p.m. for the match preview. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. In a bit.